Muso be dinga kele soro dinga kele ngafuza dinga tano impa. Jekaninjeli tunana saramani lambe mama lonta jekaninjeli
Okay, that's better. I was fixing the lighting.
Okay, ladies, welcome. This is another, let me put on my mic. This is another edition of CWS as it is. So, wait a second. I'm not seeing you, Bev. Not Bev, I'm seeing Bev. But Glenda. Oh, this is going to be interesting how we're going to do this. Alright. What happens, the sound triggers the video. So when Glenda speaks, she comes on. Okay, alright, cool. So, welcome to CWS as it is. None of you is a stranger to CWS. I think, Glenda, you were here once. Allison, this is your first time on As It Is. You've been on journeys. And Beverley, Dr. Martin, you've been on journeys. Well, let the fun begin.
Hello, and thank you for having us.
Glenda, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just laughing.
Yeah. Alright, so tell us a little bit about one sentence. I know it's unfair about who you are, each of you. We can start with you, Allison.
I'm Allison, and Glenda, Beverley, and I have been friends for a very long time. We go back to the 1970s in high school. And these are girls that it feels like we never parted at any point in time in our life. We always can connect and be the same young ladies we were giggling and laughing when we met in high school.
Awesome. Glenda, do me a favor, positionally. Could you move a little bit to your right? Yes, that's excellent. And I'm going to try and see if I can have both. That's good. That's good. Have both you and Beverley on the screen. There's an adjustment here I can make. Let me see. Gallery view. There you are. Aha. So, Bev, can you move a little bit to your right? Good. All right. Next person to speak is Glenda. Go ahead. A little bit about you.
Me, well, it's a journey. My name is Glenda Perreira, and I've known these two young ladies for over 30 years of my life. A little bit more in terms of who I am as it relates to the topic today. I'm very passionate about the empowerment of youth and of children and how the work that we do as individuals, whether it's mentoring or teaching, can make a difference and impact the outcome of children's lives.
And you, Dr. Martin.
Well, I want to know why my friends are aging us. We met in the womb.
Now, you know, I would get in trouble if I had said how many years, actually.
So, you were each born, and we're not going to live here, born and raised in Guyana, went to school in Guyana.
Yes.
And so, that's where you were introduced to your values, your principles, your etiquette, and all these things. What are some of those that still resonate with you today?
Who do you want to start?
Dr. Martin, you want to go?
I think that the values that we received as children of Guyana, respecting your adults, having those lasting friendships, going after your goals, are the things that keep propelling us through today. We've had great teachers that even when we get together as friends, we can remember some of those sayings from home. I think we grew up in a culture with rich values, and that's what's made us who we are today.
And you, Glenda?
I am going to agree with them. We are going to agree with Dr. Martin. Definitely the values of long-lasting friendship. Because I don't think we were friends anymore. I think we were like family. I mean, I don't remember, not, even though we, migrated and we no longer live in Guyana, there's things about my life that I remember because of the relationships I've had with my friends. And I think that, those are the things. And it's not only because we went to school together. I think we came to high school, already with those values instilled, So I think that, it just cemented once we connected in high school. The whole thing of respect, respect for elders, being honest and being truthful, that to me is what kept our friendship going.
And you, Allison?
I agree, especially when it comes to the values of respect. We grew up together, we moved, we grew here, but our children respect my friends as though they've grown with them. We didn't tell our kids to call our friends aunt. They did that instinctively, and it had to have come from the respect that they saw with us among each other. So definitely how we were raised. When we met, those things were impressed upon us also in school. I mean, our headmistress was very particular with how we carried ourselves as young ladies. And that has traveled with us throughout our lives. We can still see each other. We can go to Bev's house and sleep in one bed, giggling and laughing all night. But it doesn't take away from the respect of the family life that she has, the family life I have, or the family life that Glenda has.
How much has the church played in raising each of you?
It's played a very big role because each of us come from backgrounds where you didn't have a choice about religion. You did as you were expected to do. You did as you were taught. In fact, I think we were among a group of our classmates. We had started a prayer group, if I remember correctly. Glenda, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we did in high school.
And it actually is one of the things that we have commemorated about in being a reason that we're still connected, and that even after we left Guyana and connected again, the same connections are there. Each of us has talked to each other about the spiritual walk that we each are on. And
As a matter of fact, my first away camp I went was with Beverley Layne. Where did we go? I don't remember. How old were we? We went away to Camp Goshen, right? That's right. We went away to Camp Goshen, and I still remember when people would go to sleep, we would put toothpaste on their mouth.
What?
Oh yeah.
Fun times.
We walked through the church, right? We walked through the church. I always remember that. Yeah. I remember that. My first week, we were probably about 11 years old, right? 11, 12 years old, and then,
So here you are in the United States of America.
Yeah.
Each of you migrated, obviously. What particular culture shock still resonates with you?
I think disrespect of not just the young people having disrespect for the elderly, but also the elderly not being as respectful and commanding. I mean, as we were growing up in Guyana, the ethics that we had, the good morning to Mr. So-and-so, the hellos, whether you knew the person or not.
Right.
This generation, they have no respect. We grew up in a society, whether it was your mom, your mom's friend, or the neighbor way across the street, you were doing something inappropriate, you were reprimanded by that person.
Yes.
You have these kids, you're not my mother, why are you talking to me? So I think this generation, respect is lacking a whole lot in this generation.
In the same way, you have the parents that say, that's my child. You don't talk to my child like that. You don't tell my child this or that. So that is one of the most profound things that resonates. I think for me, coming from Guyana and not being pressured with who you're going to be or what you're going to do, that's one of the things that resonated with me. I didn't know the word role model because as far as I knew, I had family members that were in positions doing things that I came to just accept as a way of life. I didn't know until I got here it was the exception to the rule. So for me, that was something I had to come to grips with. Who was my role model? What do you mean? I didn't need to look outside of my family to consider what I was going to do or what I wanted to be.
Glenda, you want to say something?
I would definitely say the whole, for me, when I came, I mean, and my journey to America was, very different to Beverly and to Allison because I came independently. I didn't come, through mom or dad or somebody raising me. So for me, it was harder. It was that whole, I gotta sound very naive when I say this. It was that dog eat dog mentality, which, growing up in a little village that I'm from Golden Grove, where, my mom would always make an extra, something in the pot just in case somebody passed by, who's passing by? I mean, everybody's making their own pot. But it was that mentality, coming to America, 30 years ago, and not finding that, not knowing, not having that sense of village, community, having to start over, and to reconnect and finding friends and, family, everybody on their own hustle and doing your own thing. That was hard for me. Not having that neighbor next door or that friend on the block or, it was very difficult, very, very hard. Yeah, that whole lack of connectivity, yeah.
And Dr. Martin, as a principal, how much of the values you grew up with do you find yourself imparting on young people? I mean, your students, your own children, your neighbors' children.
Well, I'm Guyanese to the core. This is all I know. So that's what I do.
That's right.
It comes through. I demand the same respect. You don't say good morning. I stop there. I stop you. You have to say good morning. Those things that we take for granted, I have to do on a continuous basis because it's not being taught in the home. I mean, you woke up and your mother would say, did I sleep with you if you didn't say good morning? That was the expectation. You saw somebody, you say good morning, good afternoon. These kids don't have that anymore. So as they come in, I have to teach them. When I was in the classroom, I stood outside my door every morning. Good morning, how are you today? Those things, and it took them a while to understand that they needed to respond to me. They would just look at me as though I was crazy. Whereas that was the expectation growing up at home. An adult said something to you, you said yes ma'am, no ma'am, or sometimes you didn't even answer because children were seen and not heard. But here, they go toe to toe with their teachers.
Something, it's so funny, the basic concept of when you walk into a room and someone is sitting there, you're supposed to say hello or good morning. Exactly. I mean, I would get to my classroom earlier and I'd be sitting there, and my grown students would walk right in and just not even say good morning. The fact that something as basic as walking into a room and saying good morning, I mean, I find that so disgusting. That it's just okay just to walk in a room and because I'm an adult, I don't have to say good morning. Those are things that, it's just basic.
No, you take for granted.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
In my capacity as an adult educator, I even found that coming in, I'm leaving work to come and work with you. And I don't know what kind of a day you had, but you come in and it's also the same thing. I'm tired just like you are. But when you walk in, I am putting a smile on because I have another 3 hours to spend with you. And if you can walk in and just look at me like, oh, because either A, you're embarrassed to be there because you're an adult learner, or B, it's just a different environment for you. It doesn't excuse you coming in, hello, how are you? How was your day?
What, and for the topic of the day, what's missing in this generation today?
Respect, pride, self-pride, and a yearning to be better. Things,
A yearning to be better.
a yearning to be better. There's so much that's so readily shown that attract our kids today. They take that as a given and they don't understand you have to earn it. You have to want it. You know, the three of us have had different journeys. I mean, I left Guyana before they did, so I've had a different journey. I've had an opportunity to go through some of the things that they learned as they got here earlier. But we are all still learning. We didn't stop just because. And we didn't say we're just accepting this because this is what we're supposed to be settled at. We're each looking to do more. We're looking to help and broaden more. We're about to even embark on something between the three of us. And that's something I don't see a number of young people grasping or seeking to go after.
And you, Dr. Martin?
I would say home life. If we look back at our journey, everything we learned was in the home. The etiquette of how to use the knife and fork was taught in the home. The respect was taught in the home. Even though we were at high school and you were running around, I mean, everything was taught at home. You sat down at the table, get your elbows off of the table. Those things were taught in the home.
Don't speak with your mouth full.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How about don't walk in the street and eat?
What is that, Glenda?
Exactly.
Street and eat.
Don't walk in
Yeah.
the street and eat. Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah. Oh, that one.
It's ironic that you say that, Bev, because I came here, I left church and went to my mom's. On Sunday, we would go to my mom's. She cooks lunch for us. That's something that we do. It means we're seeing my parents every week. They're seeing us. They know how we are. They know what's going on. You know, unlike today where meals are not as compact or not as family oriented. And that's something I know has continued with Bev and Glenda.
Wow. And one of the things, the common threads I'm hearing here in this response to what is missing in today's generation, and I get back to that, is your friendship.
Yes.
How do you describe this friendship?
Oh my gosh, Bev, I'll let you take that one because you guys may not like what I say. You're going to say I'm doing it again.
It's rich, it's vibrant, it's evolving. Even though we were on different coasts, because I'm on the west and they're still on the east, we have the technology and we make use of it. We talk on the phone. The Glenda and Allison came out to visit me on the west. When I go to New York, we try to connect. The family functions, there were my son's wedding. We still find the time to connect, and I think that's what keeps our friendship so young and vibrant. I'm not expecting them to do it all the time. I reciprocate. They call, I call. Most times in this society, friendships are one-sided. And so the give and take that we have in our friendship is what makes it rich. I mean, we have so much that we laugh about. We share our struggles. We talk. I know I can be open with them. They're not going to judge me. Having that little DR in front of my name doesn't change. I'm still Bev. They're still Bev's little friends.
Bev's little friends. In fact, our friendship is even got our siblings involved because.
Sorry. You were saying something?
Yeah, so that's what is lacking. The values that we place on friendship. A lot of this generation, they're friends today and something happens and they're no longer friends tomorrow. But friends are friends for life, and we are committed to our relationship, and we put energy into our relationship.
Yeah.
I agree. Because even though we on Facebook, we participate in social media, one of the things I try to do that even though, when we have birthdays, I always try to make that personal phone call. I mean, it's one thing to say happy birthday on Facebook, but I love to call Bev. I know we're on different time zone. I'll be like, oh, happy birthday. Or Allison wants to say, call me on my birthday or send a text. Keeping that, that connection, that whatever it is, that thing that we had for all these years, just keep it going. I mean, and as both Allison, and Bev, stated, it didn't just start with us just being friends. It's something that we saw parents doing, right?
Yeah.
So my mom is still friends with her girlfriend from since they were little kids.
Right.
So if that's what you see, that's what you will pass on to your children. I think it's so unfair that the kids are here, they're not seeing it. If they're not seeing it, they can't emulate it.
So that in essence is very important.
Yes.
Is seeing your actions and being able to emulate that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Also, you were going to say something.
I was going to say that our friendship even encompasses family members. Bev's brother, Jeffrey, he laughingly calls us Bev's little friends. He always does this. He sees us. He says, oh my gosh, Bev's little friends, I should have paid attention to you guys more, Now he calls himself Big Brother, so he's watching us. So we have that as an added layer of connection that makes us smile, okay, I don't have to worry if something comes up. Well, Jeffrey knows who I am too, and something like that. It's really well. I know Glenda's sisters, they know mine. It's not just the one person. Yeah, we have carved our niche out, but we're connected, and the family knows who my friends are.
There's this idea out there. There's some complaints that the younger generation, no matter what you do for them or you give them, there's this sense of entitlement and sometimes lack of gratitude. And you hear adults, especially the baby boomers and the Generation X, talk all this, right? What are your experiences with that? Do you find that with Gen Y that there is this sense of entitlement and you're supposed to give me?
I had a great conversation with someone once, and it made me understand a bit more about that.
Mm-hmm.
We come from a generation living here. They went through the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
They struggled to do better. They attained, and they've done better. But where the person pointed out to me the fault lies in why the children may feel entitled is because those very parents who went through the civil rights era didn't want their children to know the degradation of their suffering.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't share that, and they wanted to make sure they could have those kids live a life that was better than theirs. So in not educating their children about that struggle, these children have developed what might be, for lack of a better word, our own fault because we didn't say, well, we didn't just get here like this. We had to struggle. And this was what we went through. I do see it. I see it in my workplace because now I am one of the knowledge transferable people that's there, seeing the younger generation coming in who have a different work concept. First of all, they're not coming into work to retirement. They're working 3 to 5 years, making the money they want at that time. Then they're going off and marketing themselves at a higher salary and moving on. And they're not looking for a pension. They're also much more savvy with regard to what to do with their money than we were. Again, we didn't teach our children that, but the millennials have learned that in the society because of technology and because of what they've been made privy to. So the differences are, while we didn't want our children to suffer, we didn't share the struggle that might have helped them to understand why entitlement should not be what they feel because they've had a better life than we did.
Your thoughts on that, Glenda?
Well, my best thought on that is a conversation that I remember having with Beverley, when we connected. The fact that every year Beverley would send her children back to Guyana. She shared with us that every summer her kids back to Guyana to, go to the farm and keep their in-laws had a farm right there. And one of the things that it was very important for her kids to understand that the life they have out in California is a life that was created for them by her and her husband, and they should know where we come. And I agree with that. And that is also agreeing with what Allison shared about the fact that she wanted to see her children. Because a lot of us migrated and we have this whole concept that now our kids are American. I don't even know what that means. That now our kids are American. I don't know what that means. Your kids are born in America.
Right.
Your values have nothing to do, it should be the same. I'm very sorry, I don't buy into that. So if you have those beliefs, the knowledge you're away from Guyana, and now your kids are born in America, or whatever you think it is. So now all of a sudden, you don't let them know that where we're from, there's a reason why we came here. Whether came here voluntarily or whether your parents brought you here, we all came here for some kind of a business lesson. It's very important for the kids to know. And that's across the board. They should know that, there's no sense of entitlement. There's no, you have to earn things. It shouldn't be given to you, Simple things like thank you, right? Christmas time. Ask the average kid, why are we celebrating Christmas? They think it's about Santa Claus. Most kids have no clue about why we're celebrating Christmas because why? It's gifts. The fact that you're not telling them about Christmas and what it means, if you're a Christian, that's your responsibility. Tell your kids we're celebrating Christmas because, Jesus, whatever your beliefs are. So I think that has a lot to do with it. It's not, I don't think it's a sense of entitlement because they're just that generation. I think it's more how they perceive and the things that we're not telling them or we're not involved in them, they just feel it's okay.
So would you say it's sort of dangerous for us not to pass on some of this information to the next generation, our experiences and so on?
Most definitely. If we look from a spiritual point of view, the Bible talks about people perishing because lack of knowledge. And if we look at the Old Testament, what were the fathers supposed to do? Write the stuff down and share it with their children. So it becomes a constant reminder of where you've come from. So that when they see where they are currently, that's where the gratitude comes in. And that was why I did what I did with my kids. When they went to Guyana and they saw the poverty and all the things that happened at home, when they came back, they had a different appreciation for the lives that we're trying to give them here.
So that contrast is important.
Yes,
Yes,
I agree.
Most definitely. And I think even in our schools, we have removed some of those things from our history books.
Yes.
So the kids don't have an understanding of the struggle. I mean, my husband showed me a post that he found recently on Facebook. And it showed a picture of Malcolm and Martin, and it said these were the times that they took us seriously. They were dressed in their suits. They looked decent. Now they show us all the guys with the baggy pants, and you want to know why you're not taken very seriously.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about dressing, appearance, image. And Bev, I know you deal with that a lot in your capacity as principal. Let's take a quick break.